A beautiful spring evening here in Brands Hatch in Kent, the Garden of England, and well, we're about to mess up that garden a little bit with some noisy race cars. 37 of them taking to the track now in the qualifying for the Blancpain GT Series Round 3 from here in Brands Hatch. It's 22 degrees and it's still 5 o'clock at night. Track temperature up to 29 degrees. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary box is John Watts. With a minute and a half to go. This is just Q1 though, and it'll be the both Q1 and Q2 that will see the cars progress.
0.8 of a second behind fastest overall provisional time set by Alexander Sim. He goes into the pit, so he decides, as pretty much everybody has done, as the clock ticks down to zero, there's not an awful lot to be gained. But there we are, your own Blancpain still pounding away.
Quickest then here at Brands Hatch. The second qualifying segment will start in 4.5 minutes time. So here's a look at the results after qualifying one. BMW M6 GT3 of Rowe Racing, quickest, Alexander Sims and Philip Enck, just 0.5 of a second ahead of Dries van Thor in the number 4 WRT Audi. All the first drivers in this column are the drivers that set the lap time in that session. So your own Blancpain, and we saw they're going third quickest, Rob Bell fourth, Rosenquist, Baumann, Schneider, Dusseldorp, Abril, Zampieri, then Frederick Vervisch and Laurens van Thor in 11th place. And I'm sure we'll speak a bit more about them as the session progresses, but they had a problem in free practice 2, and when I spoke to them just before qualifying, they said, we don't know what the problem is. So that concludes Q1, but now Q2 is where the battle really begins to be in the top 19 to get through to the pole position shootout. Well, that's quite a view, isn't it? 37 GT3 cars.
I tell you, I'd give you a couple of mil for the lot of them, Jack.
Yeah, exactly. As they come out onto the circuit. So at the moment, it's Alexander Sims who is the quickest on a 1 minute 23.926.
Still hairy, scary moment.
But that was still the 5th quickest time overall for Mirko Bortolotti. Franck Pereira, meanwhile, is on a quick lap. He's just about to come over the line now. Where's Pereira go? He comes into the pits, so no improvement for Franck Pereira. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Good first sector for Marcus Winkelhock. Good middle sector for Alvaro Parent. Both of those guys, well, Winkelhock in 14th place is under a bit of threat at the moment.
Parent's time, looking at the first sectors against others around him, and his second sector has got scope for improvement. So Parent currently 9th in this session. Could see some small improvement coming across the line. No, nothing. So he stays all the way down in 11th overall.
But as it stands, still going through to Q3. Up towards Druids. The car's still streaming across the line as cars desperately try to get a lap in. The number 8 Bentley is one that hasn't made it through as it stands to the final part of qualifying, as Gottfried Grasser gives a little bit of gentle instruction, I think, to one of the mechanics. But yeah, that number 8 Bentley, we'll try and keep an eye out on them as well, because it's not been a great run. Here comes the 87 ACA ASP car of Moulin Trafort. We're going to see an improvement from him, 16th in this session, and that leaves him 19th overall, so right on the bubble. Checker flag is out. Who is out there that can improve? Seidler gets up into 13th place, which is 16th overall, so looks as though Ferrari are going to be getting through to the final part of qualifying. We've got all the guys you'd expect to be in there. That means that Lucas Stoltz, this man in car 19, has just been shuffled out. And it's not a good first 2 sectors either.
No, and this is his last chance to check the flag is out. All he can do is try and maximise what he's got remaining in this final sector, but probably is too little too late. Goes across the line and doesn't improve, and consequently is the first to not get through.
Yeah, 20th place then for Lucas Stoltz on the grid for tomorrow. There is Gottfried Grasser. Looks as though his car, run by Mirko Bortolotti, is going to end the session fastest of anyone. A few more cars to come through. Here comes 89, no, into the pits for them. The problem is with such a big grid with such closely matched cars and good cars, I'm struggling to sort of mentally think of who isn't in the top 19 that we would expect to see into the top 19. But we've got the 333 Ferrari in there. Well, we've got Stephen Kane's Bentley, we've got Van Thor, we've got Freins, we've got Bortolotti, we've got Buch.
For me, the sort of surprise is we don't have any of the Nissans through.
Yeah. So here are the top cars that are going to be going through to the final pole position shootout. The top 19. Mirko Bortolotti ending the session quickest Maximilian Buch, second quickest, then it's Christopher Mies in third. Great lap from Franck Pereira to be fourth quickest in that 74 ISR Audi. Great lap from Franck Pereira to be fourth quickest in that 74 ISR Audi. Robin Franks ends the session fifth quickest. Great effort from Alexander Sims to finish seventh quickest, even though that time was set in Q1. Then we've got the ACA Mercedes of Rosenquist and Vautier getting through in 13th place. So Vautier not quite having the pace of his teammate. Marcus Winkelhock in 14th. Jesse Krohn on his Blancpain debut making it through into the top 19. It's Daniel Zampieri and Patrick Niederhauser, the last men through into that pole position shootout. Last year it was sort of a top 10, but this time we're going to have the 63 car of the Grasser Racing team, and that is Mirko Bortolotti, who will be in that car. Dominic Baumann will be the man who's doing the Q3 session for the Mercedes team. We'll have Christopher Mies for the 33 car. Franck Pereira in the 74 ISR Audi. Franck Pereira in the 74 ISR Audi. Robin Franks in the number 4 WRT Audi. Laurens Vanthoor in the number 1 WRT Audi. Alexander Sims in the 99 Row Racing BMW. The 85 Jasmine Jafar HTP Mercedes will be 8th quickest after that first session. Jules Simkowiak in the other HTP car. So all three HTPs inside the top 9. Jeroen Bleekemolen completing the top 10. And then we've got Stephen Kane out there, Alvaro Parent, Tristan Vautier in that Mercedes ACA ASP in 13th place. It'll be Marcus Winkelhock, Jesse Krohn, Christopher Hasse, Norbert Siedler, Marco Mappelli and Daniel Zampieri, who will be the drivers to compete in this final pole position shootout. So the fast lane is now open, and out they go.
Second covering the first 6 at this stage, just over 5 minutes, 40 seconds remaining.
Franck Pereira quickest for the ISR Audi team. What a fantastic performance Franck Pereira is having so far. 1 minute 23.260. Franck Pereira quickest at the moment. Jules Simkowiak second quickest. Third for Jasmine Jafar. Fourth Alvaro Parent. Fifth Mirko Bortolotti. Sixth Alexander Sims. But Franck Pereira, meanwhile, is just on a personal best in Sector 1. Here comes Dominic Baumann. Personal best Sector 1. Personal best Sector 2. The top... goodness me, the top 13 cars at the moment, covered by 0.4 of a second. Across the line comes Baumann, 8th quickest.
And who is 13th quickest? Laurens Vanthoor.
Yeah.
I mean, that lap that we saw him go on to, and we thought maybe he'd just backed out of it. He's down in 13th position, and he's got just under 3 minutes.
So Franck Pereira on provisional pole position for the ISR Audi team. I'm pretty sure that would be ISR's first pole position in the Blancpain series. It wouldn't be Franck Pereira's first. He got a pole at Silverstone in a Porsche a couple of years ago in the Endurance series, and that is 6th for Alvaro Parent. Doesn't manage to improve. Here comes Laurens Vanthoor across the line. Can he improve on 13th place?
9th.
Well, I mean, he does improve, but not notably.
Where's it gone?
Franks is 10th.
I mean, that's just unexpected. When you got your more the customer Audi, Franck Pereira, fastest overall, and the difference is 0.2 of a second.
Extra branding for Dominic Baumann.
Yeah, I don't know where he's picked it up.
He's trying to wiggle it off. He's obviously been wide at some corner, but that'll be a job for team signage.
What great advertising for Pirelli! I mean, phenomenal.
So Franck Pereira, 23.2. Simkowiak second at the moment on a 23.3. As I say, the top 14 cars now covered by less than half a second. Personal best first sector for Laurens Vanthoor in the number 1 WRT Audi. So that car on a charge. Here he is. Took pole position here last year, did Vanthoor. Won the qualifying race, won the main race at the moment, 9th quickest.
Do you think he's inspired him in
he's
running?
gone wide onto the gravel.
That's cost him time. He's had to back out of it.
And that's going to be it.
He ran wide coming out of Hawthorns, but that was in control. Running wide out of Westfield, he's backed out of it. He knows that he's got a problem. He can't go any quicker. So what a disappointment for for Laurens Vanthoor. Starts on the 5th row of the grid, all the way down in 9th position.
The checker flag falls, the session is over, no one is going quicker, so the ISR Audi squad looks set to have their pole position here at Brands Hatch with Franck Pereira. Here comes. So pole position for the Audi, second for Jules Simkowiak. A word about Jules Simkowiak, that's a really impressive lap time.
Yes, and I think last year Simkowiak had a very mixed season, got involved in that massive accident back in Misano, which took out Laurens Vanthoor, and he seems much more comfortable this year with the HTP team. That was the team that ran the Bentley he was with last year, but for some reason just seems to have slotted into the Mercedes and is doing a very, very good job indeed.
Do you think it's anything to do with his teacher, Bernd Schneider? That's got to help.
Well, I'd like to think that, you know, dear Uncle Bert, has contributed. I mean, the thing is, someone like Bernd Schneider can tell you what you could maybe help yourself by doing. You've got to take it on board and you've got to listen to it and then think it through and then ultimately put it into effect.
So high fives in the ISR Racing Garage for Frank Pereira, Frank Stippler giving a handshake as well. And a big thumbs up for the ISR team. And they have beaten the quickest WRT Audi by 0.2 of a second. Christopher Mies, 4th quickest. Van Thor, 9th. Franks, 10th. There's going to be a long debrief, I think, tonight for WRT.
I'll tell you what, if you had £1,000 on a 5,000 to 1 for Leicester City, you'd be a wealthy man. Who would have given anybody, who would have given Frank Pereira the chance to be in pole position? What would the odds have been?
Yeah, absolutely. Really impressive performance from the Frenchman.
Now it's a super drive, and he just got it in relatively early in the session and used the best of the tyre that he had, and indicates that whatever his Audi is doing, it's doing it better than any of the other Audis here this weekend.
So pole position for the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup event here at Brands Hatch tomorrow for Frank Pereira and the ISR team. His teammate Marlon Stockinger will no doubt be overjoyed as well. A 1 minute 23.260.
Frank, congratulations, a pole at Brands.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's great. It's really a big pleasure, you know, to be in pole finally, because in Misano I was already in pole, but unfortunately we had track limit, and then here it was not easy, you know, because it's have no experience on this track. So we try to, you know, to work with the car and try to build the qualify, you know, and try to. But we saw that we improve every lap, and I think Q2 was important. You know, I show I was in the front, so it was really confident for me. And this time I tried to put everything together and we done. So it's good. It's good for the team. It's motivate everybody, and it's so good for my teammate Marlon, who will have a huge advantage to be in front, and it's good.
Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.